The news broke like a thunderclap across the Pacific, echoing through capitals and coastal towns alike. On November 3, 2025, screens from Tokyo to Manila and Washington to Beijing lit up with the same stunning images, uniting millions in a moment of shared astonishment. The JS Abukuma, a sleek gray warship, sailed into Subic Bay, its silhouette sharp against the morning sun, cutting through the mist like a harbinger of change. This was no ordinary port visit. It was a transfer of power, a moment heavy with symbolism and anticipation. Headlines flashed. Japan delivers first modern warship to Philippines, Tokyo's bold move in South China Sea. The world's media seized on the story, amplifying its significance. The arrival was meticulously orchestrated, a powerful piece of political theater for a global audience, with every detail designed to send a message. The message: Asia's strategic landscape was shifting, and this warship was proof. A steel-clad symbol of new realities. Philippine and Japanese naval officers stood shoulder to shoulder, their uniforms a stark contrast to the gray hull, embodying a new spirit of partnership. For years, the Philippine Navy relied on aging vessels, their decks weathered by time and tides. Now, a modern warship was joining their fleet, promising new capabilities and renewed confidence. This moment was the result of months of quiet diplomacy, a historic step for both nations, forged in back rooms and late-night calls. For the Philippines, it was a leap toward credible defense, a chance to stand taller in uncertain waters. For Japan, a break from post-war pacifism. The world watched, captivated, as a new era dawned. Analysts scrambled to interpret the implications, debating what this meant for the balance of power in the region. This was not just a sail, it was a symbolic act, a testament to a new alliance, and a signal to rivals and allies alike. The Abukuma's transfer was the first of its kind for Japan, unthinkable a decade ago, marking a dramatic shift in policy and ambition. As the ship docked, a hush fell. The crowd sensed history in the making. Soon to be rechristened, it was more than a ship. It was a statement of intent, a promise of shared security. The arrival was the dramatic opening scene of a new chapter in Asia's naval power game, setting the stage for what was to come. The arrival of the Abukuma sent a profound geopolitical shockwave reverberating across the region, capturing the attention of both allies and rivals alike. This was far from an ordinary military transaction. Japan's transfer of the warship was a grant, a gesture of goodwill, and a gift of immense strategic value. It signaled a deepening alignment between Tokyo and Manila, two nations facing mounting pressure in the increasingly contested waters of the South China Sea. By providing a modern warship, Japan invested directly in the Philippines' ability to patrol its vast maritime territory, deter aggression, and uphold international law in the face of growing challenges. This act recalibrated the regional balance of power, sending a clear message to all players in the area. The Abukuma, while not the most advanced vessel in Japan's fleet, represented a quantum leap for the Philippine Navy, elevating its capabilities to a new level. It brought with it anti-submarine warfare technology, surface-to-surface missiles, and advanced surveillance systems, capabilities the Philippines had long lacked and sorely needed to defend its interests. The symbolism was as significant as the hardware itself. Japan, once an occupier during World War II, now stood as a committed security partner. Old animosities and historical wounds were set aside, replaced by a shared resolve to face new and emerging challenges together. The partnership sent a powerful signal that regional democracies were prepared to defend a rules-based order and cooperate for collective security. To allies, it demonstrated Japan's readiness to shoulder greater responsibility and play a more active role in regional security. To rivals, it served as a clear warning that the status quo was being challenged and that new partnerships were forming. This act cemented a vital partnership and effectively redrew lines of influence in one of the world's most critical maritime crossroads. The ripples from this event will continue to shape defense policies, diplomatic strategies, and regional alliances for years to come. Overnight, the region's power dynamics had shifted, ushering in a new era of uncertainty and strategic competition. Japan's transfer of a warship to the Philippines marks a pivotal shift in its security policy. For decades, Japan's pacifist constitution limited its military role. Exporting a combat vessel was once taboo. Now, it's a sign of proactive pacifism. Japan is moving to actively contribute to regional stability by empowering allies. The changing security environment, territorial disputes, military assertiveness, demanded this shift. Japan's own security is tied to Indo-Pacific stability. Helping the Philippines is a strategic investment. This is not charity, but forward defense. The move reflects Japan's desire for a larger leadership role, building its own network of security partnerships. The Abukuma transfer is the clearest example of this new strategy. Supported by legal reforms and evolving public opinion, it's the logical outcome of a long-term reorientation. Japan is no longer a passive observer, it's shaping the regional order. The warship transfer sparked a chorus of global reactions. Allies like the United States and Australia quickly voiced support, calling it a positive step for regional stability. Washington praised Japan's burden sharing, while Canberra welcomed deeper defense ties in Southeast Asia. The move was seen as building a coalition of democracies upholding international law. Beijing's response was sharp, warning against escalation and accusing Japan of militarism. Chinese media called it a provocation, seeing the Philippines as a pawn in a containment strategy. ASEAN's reaction was mixed. Vietnam quietly welcomed the move, while others remained neutral, wary of taking sides. The transfer forced Southeast Asian nations to re-evaluate their positions in a polarized security environment. The region's balancing act had become more precarious. The world was watching, and the stakes had risen. The handover ceremony at Subic Bay was rich in symbolism, marking a significant turning point in naval history for both nations. Under a clear sky, the Japanese crew stood at attention for the last time, their faces solemn, while their Filipino counterparts waited below, anticipation and pride evident in their posture. High-ranking officials and dignitaries from both countries watched as history unfolded before their eyes, aware of the gravity of the moment. The emotional centerpiece was the lowering of Japan's flag, accompanied by the haunting notes of Kimigayo, echoing across the bay and stirring deep emotions among those present. The flag was carefully folded and presented to the Japanese commander, a moment of farewell, respect, and reflection on years of service. Then, the Philippine flag was raised to the stirring anthem of Lupang Hinirang, Catching the Breeze, a powerful symbol of new beginnings and national pride. The ship was formally rechristened BRP Emilio Jacinto, named for a revered Philippine hero, signifying its new identity and mission. The raising of the new flag marked the official transfer of ownership and responsibility, sealing the transition with a sense of ceremony and hope. The vessel, once a symbol of Japan's maritime legacy, was now transformed into a tool for Philippine self-defense and sovereignty. The ceremony was a public display of reconciliation and partnership, demonstrating the enduring bonds and mutual respect between the two nations. Two flags, one lowered and one raised, encapsulated a historic shift, an exchange that spoke volumes about change and continuity. In a single moment, the past gave way to a hopeful future, as both countries looked ahead to new chapters of cooperation and shared purpose. The arrival of the former JS Abukuma is a monumental step in modernizing the Philippine Navy. For years, the Navy relied on aging, outdated ships. Now that's changing. The Abukuma-Class brings modern sensors, weapons, and propulsion, transforming the fleet's capabilities. Equipped with rapid-fire guns, harpoon missiles, and advanced sonar, it's a leap forward in naval warfare. The ship empowers the Navy to conduct longer, more effective patrols and deters potential adversaries. Its presence alone shifts the strategic calculus in the South China Sea. The Navy is evolving from a coastal patrol force to a power capable of defending sovereignty far from shore. Potential future transfers of even more advanced ships could be a game-changer. The Philippine Navy is moving from legacy ships to a true vanguard force. This transformation boosts regional security and national confidence. The Abukuma's arrival ignited national pride across the Philippines. For a maritime nation, seeing a modern warship fly the Philippine flag is deeply inspiring. It signals a commitment to defense and sovereignty, rallying public support for military modernization. Navy personnel, long tasked with maintaining old ships, now serve on a state-of-the-art platform, boosting morale and professionalism. Modern systems attract skilled recruits and elevate the force's capabilities. The ship is also a tool for public diplomacy, projecting an image of a confident, reliable Philippines. Internationally, it shows the country is a serious security partner. The warship becomes a floating symbol of resilience and determination. The message: the Philippines is building capacity, not just protesting. This virtuous cycle of pride and capability fuels the nation's maritime ambitions. The Abukuma transfer is the clearest sign of Japan's evolving security doctrine. This shift is the result of decades of strategic re-evaluation. Japan is moving from a purely defensive posture to a more active role in regional security. The free and open Indo-Pacific vision guides this change, emphasizing rule of law and freedom of navigation. Japan now invests in partners' capabilities, not just diplomacy. Legal reforms, including reinterpretation of Article 9 and new security laws, made the transfer possible. Relaxed arms export rules turned strategy into reality. The transfer sets a precedent. Japan will use its defense industry as a tool of statecraft. This marks a new era. Japan is a key provider of regional security, not just an economic power. The Abukuma is a test case for future partnerships across Asia. The Abukuma's transfer brings both opportunity and risk to the Indo-Pacific. For the Philippines, it's a vital boost in maritime defense. For Japan, a strengthened partnership. The move helps rebalance power in the South China Sea, introducing new deterrents. But risks loom. China may see this as provocation, escalating tensions, and military activity. There's potential for a regional arms race, and ASEAN unity could be strained. The challenge is to leverage the rewards while managing escalation and division. Careful diplomacy will be essential. The future security of the Indo-Pacific depends on striking this delicate balance. The stakes have never been higher.